Hello from the Bighorn Basin of Wyoming. It's so quiet here. Well, I was going to record a video about something completely different. And then I realized that this is what's really been on my mind. So I realize that this may incite discussions of how I need to live in the present and let go and stop overthinking things and all of those kinds of admonitions. And yet, the whole point for me is to be authentic and vulnerable and be honest about where I'm really at, so that maybe first I can accept and integrate my full self and express and feel and be my full experience, and maybe in the process even inspire you to do the same. I guess that's why I'm documenting and sharing it, to show that it's okay to be all parts of yourself and to not have to force things. So I have two great past loves that have been very hard for me to let go of, and a really big part of my journey over this past year and a half has been just that, letting go. And that process of letting go, a spiraling process that gets deeper and keeps circling around the same seasons of emotions, has really looked like actually letting myself feel the way I feel, which has transitioned through, yes, letting go and acceptance and pain and wanting back and projecting and wondering and the deep grief of loss and the new hope of tomorrow and the full presence of what is. All of those are part of my experience. And last night, as I was driving home from my hometown, where it was very difficult for me to be, in large part because it brought me back to memories of specifically a relationship that once was, and felt overwhelming in the loss of that and the wondering if that could ever be again, and the wanting to belittle and make myself illegitimate in the still having feelings for this person when it's been 6 years since we broke up and 4.5 years since we last made love. And then I remembered. So in the book, The Wild Edge of Sorrow by Francis Weller, he talks about the first time that he meets this Jungian psychoanalyst who becomes his mentor. And he goes into this Jungian psychoanalyst room, and the man has a large rock on his table. And he says, "I run on geological time. If you want to work with the soul, this is the kind of time that you want to start to work with. Slow time, some call it." And right next to the rock, he has a tiny little chronological clock, a clock face. And he, as an aside, a sort of afterthought, puts his hand on that and says, "The soul hates this." And so this whole idea of measuring ourselves and how long it's supposed to take for anything, to fall in love, to fall out of love, to get over something, to get into something, to be okay with something, to not be okay with something. I believe that our feelings and processes, while they are perhaps represented by whatever time is, our experience of them, the soul of them, lives outside of time. And whenever we confine ourselves to that, it's like we're confining and trapping our souls. But more importantly, in this realization of mine, it's like we are rejecting an aspect of ourselves that, as long as it's there in the present, is real. And what I realized was that this part of me, who is a genuine part of the whole of me, this part of me will always be here. I will always have a part of me that loves and longs for and wonders about and grieves and hurts for and rejoices in and remembers and is my relationship with that person. And I love this aspect of relationship is the Holy Trinity. The one and the two become three, because there's the one and there's the two, and then there's the relationship between them. And that's the Holy Spirit, or one way that I like to think of it. That's why one and two automatically make three. And so that relationship that exists between us, and that part of me that is in relationship with that relationship, is part of me. There's no amount of time that will make it go away. And my feeling like I need to just let go, and that it's ridiculous that I still have feelings for this person, or like there's something wrong with me, or having this goal of my whole process of feeling about that relationship to be essentially excluding it from myself and getting rid of it, is really missing the point, I think, because that is part of me. And maybe it's to invite in that part of me and accept that part of me that will always love this person, that will always be in relationship with them, because that love was real. There were a lot of fucked up aspects about it, trust me. And it is real. Not just was, it is real. It lives still and always will. And so I invite you to consider whatever part of yourself it is, or whatever relationship with, another being, or a part of yourself, or a substance, or a place, or your past, anything that you just want to get rid of or let go of. And honestly, letting go is part of it. I just sometimes think that for me, I can use letting go as this way of berating myself rather than letting go of my need to let go, So it's still about letting go. It's just the true essence of letting go is absolute acceptance of every part of ourselves. And for me, that has looked like accepting the part of me that loves this person and always will. And accepting that love is in and part of and breathes in my soul. And my soul doesn't exist in chronological time. This isn't something that can be measured. It is. It's a part of me. And okay, that was a real spontaneous sigh, by the way. If you are feeling distraught and can practice feeling into that and being with that, and then maybe trying different ways to release, which again, that difference between I'm using release in the sense of release resisting something, not forcing yourself to get rid of it. Release as in being with what really is. Our body sighing like that is an activation of the parasympathetic nervous system. And I have been learning this from learning about somatic experiencing, which I encourage you to look up more about. It's been a very powerful practice of mine, somatic experiencing, realizing that, becoming conscious that we're feeling an emotion and going to and noticing where that emotion shows up in our body. I've noticed for me, sadness shows up a lot in my right chest. And then just going and being with that feeling, not even necessarily associating it with a name or emotion, just being with the bodily sensation, the somatic experience. And then maybe trying out different things to just ease and release the tension that's being held there, which is both a way of going deeper into it and letting it go. And so maybe it's rubbing that place. Maybe it's walking. Maybe it is a cognizant realization like I had of oh, I actually, what I really want, what my soul and deepest self wants, is for me to accept and invite in and love and hug and embrace Like bring in is to let go. This part of myself that still loves this person and always will. And if we have something like a spontaneous sigh or a releasing of the jaw that looks like licking and chewing or swallowing, these are signs that our body is processing something and that we have activated the parasympathetic nervous system and relaxed about something. And I actually also learned that from horses. You know, when horses are licking, chewing, or sighing, or blinking also. Like if you're in a fear state, it looks like this. It's really tense. And if you have a spontaneous sigh, try and pay attention because something just happened, whether it was something you were thinking, feeling, moving, doing, that allowed you to process and be with and relax into, to both invite in and let go of something. And so, like I said, I was going to make a completely different video, and sometimes I feel really vulnerable sharing things like this because I feel like it's interesting how the comments will be things about, you know, how I need to just let go and be in the present, and I need to do this and I need to do that, and I'm not getting it. While that's interesting, what I really am interested in is what is your authentic experience of this? Not what should be done necessarily. Like, what does it look like for you? What is something that you have been feeling like, I'll be okay once I just get rid of this part of me. Then I'll finally be okay. And I need a timeline to get rid of it too. And instead, inviting that part of you in. What is an experience of that for you? To me, when we share those stories, that's how we help each other heal. Because holding space and being with someone is really just to listen to them, not to try and fix it and make it go away. And so also in a larger way, what I'm talking about here is learning to hold space for every part of myself, which is just to be with it, just to relax into it and become conscious of and pay attention of ways that work for me to do that. And this feeling like that girl who will always love this person, and this person was my first love. It just feels so good to know that I can be her, I can be with her, she can be with me. I don't need to get rid of her, no matter what happens. Even if I never have any outside indication or proof that what exists between me and this person is real anymore, I can legitimize my own true feelings around it. And I can accept all parts of myself. I'm going to show you a little bit more of the environment that I'm in. And thank you for being here with me and letting me vulnerably share this, because what I'm interested in and what I find the most powerful is not to be right, to be authentic. And to be authentic is to just be real with what's really going on with us rather than what we should be feeling. Sure, there are times that I feel completely enlightened and like I have no attachments. Most of the time, I'm still processing things that I think I need to get rid of and learning to feel into accepting that those are part of me. And maybe, just maybe, the parts of ourselves that we most want to get rid of are actually the parts of us that hold the greatest superpowers. Maybe this pain that I feel from this unrequited love, from this love that I've lost, the grief, maybe the depth of my feeling for that, in true acceptance of that, rather than feeling like something's wrong with me that I haven't let go. Letting that pain and that grief and that love and that joy and that wondering and that longing and that depth of that be part of how I experience and process the world. Maybe that makes me more fully, not just me, more fully human. Maybe that makes the depth of my experience and my ability to express it that much more powerful. What do you think?
Love you.